Today, you'll be listening to the final episode of African Filmmakers Podcast Season 1. For this episode, I spoke with a director who's also a producer. Many first-time directors also have to produce their first films, but so far we've focused solely on directing. So I thought it would be great to hear about the experience of a first-time producer. Our guest is big on impact-driven stories about social issues. She wrote and directed Efun, a short film on female genital mutilation, which won a special prize at the World Health Organization's Health for All Film Festival. She was among the 21 African filmmakers shortlisted for the Netflix-UNESCO African Folktales Reimagined competition. If you watched the ScriptScreen Africa reality show in 2018, you might recognize her as the winner of the Best Screenplay award. Allow me to introduce Anita Abada. How did you find your way into the film industry?
Well, before I got into film, I used to be a writer. I write basically for my social media platforms, write for columns and stuff, yeah. It's been something I've been doing like right from secondary school. I could even say primary school, yeah. I used to write in primary school, but then it was just scribbling and stuff. Then got into secondary school, started writing poems, started writing articles, fiction. And when I finished school, I got a job as a content creator and social media person for a tech firm. And while I was working there, I realized I wanted to do more than just writing for my social media platforms, because then I wasn't really making actual money from my skills as a writer. I was just creating content for them. I was being paid monthly salary, but I wanted to do more. So I started researching on other ways I could actually make money from writing, and I discovered I could actually write screenplays. And I've always loved film right from childhood. I've seen a lot of films, action, and so on.
Wait, what was your favorite film growing up?
I would say Garaftan.
That's an Indian film.
I watched a lot of Indian films growing up. I watched Commando. And to think, I actually couldn't remember the story when I grew up until I watched it again. Mm-hmm. But then I loved it when I was growing up, and I didn't know what the story was. Wow. But yeah. So I decided to learn how to write screenplays. I taught myself, took online courses, watched videos on YouTube, and I wrote my very first short film. Coincidentally, I came across this online opening for a reality show, to audition for a reality show rather. It was ScriptScreen Africa, and I decided to send in my first short film I wrote. It was a social impact driven short film. That was the first script I wrote in my life after taking those online courses and stuff, and thankfully I got picked to come for audition. And yeah, from the audition point, I answered questions and I got a slot to get into the house.
So what was that like?
Yeah, and when I got there, after the end of the show, I won Best Screenplay in the reality show.
But tell me, what was that like, that experience, script to screen? Tell us about that.
Well, it was a 2 months, if I'm not mistaken, 1 or 2 month intensive workshop for filmmakers, actors and filmmakers. Yeah, it was like a boot camp where we're housed for that period of time. Mentors, people in the industry were brought in to like take us on courses and stuff. And we had to do projects while we were in the house to prove that, okay, we've actually learned a lot from what we were being taught. Yeah, so that was what it was basically about. And I think it was showing on some station on TV. It was on DSTV and stuff. Yeah, I really can't remember. It's like a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was very intense. It's interesting. I met a lot of amazing people in the film space. It was my first time mingling with people in the film space. So for me, it was exciting. It was new.
I can imagine. So your screenplay that won, was it the same one you applied with, or did you develop another one?
Oh, I developed another one. So when we got to the house, we were split into different groups. And I was the screenwriter for my group. And the script that won the award was the one I wrote for the film we made at the end of the show. Because at the end of the reality show, each group had to like make a film that was shown to an audience was screened to an audience at the end of the reality show. So the one I wrote for my group was what won the best screenplay prize.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So that was basically your introduction.
That's how I dabbled into filmmaking. And after I had to go back to my work, because then I realized that even though I had won best screenplay and I had gotten an award from the film space per se, I was very new to the film space. I didn't know anybody. I had no network in the reality show, and I didn't want to make the decision of quitting my job to join to start looking for gigs, writing gigs and stuff. I knew it was going to be hard. And thankfully, the firm I was working with, they were really nice. They paid me for the month I was away. When I came back, I didn't even resume work till like 2 weeks later. And HR asked me, do you want to come back to work, or do you want to, since you're not a celebrity? I said, no, I'm not a celebrity.
They must have really loved you.
I needed to still make that money, you get, before I decide, I've gotten like a large network of people I can easily call and do jobs for and stuff. I didn't want to just jump out of work. But thankfully, some months later, I got an offer in Abuja to become like a paid screenwriter for a media firm in Abuja. So that's how I now got fully into filmmaking. And so that's the journey.
That's awesome. I mean, how long ago was this?
The reality show was in 2018. Yes, early 2018.
Okay,
so at the end of 2018, I had quit my job. I had worked there for 2 years. So I quit my job at the end of 2018 when I got the offer to move to Abuja in 2018. So that was like, same time.
So the Abuja job, like what kind of job was it? What kind of company was it? What were you doing?
It's a film production company. I was a screenwriter. So I was developing series, films for feature films for the company alongside other writers. So I had to be involved in conferences and stuff to create series and TV films.
Oh, that's amazing. I see that you seem to like social impact stories a lot, right?
Oh, yes, I do. A lot.
Why? Where does that come from?
Well, I think I'm usually the kind of person that I believe in fairness. I believe in justice. I believe in social reforms, and I think there are avenues we can actually portray these things. And in the kind of society we live in, you see daily cases of crime, issues, and sometimes these people actually get away with these crimes they commit. So I feel like working on social impact stories are ways I can actually portray these issues to the public, and also have authorities that are in charge of these spaces maybe address it, or just a way of tackling it and then bringing about reform and stuff in these different spaces.
Interesting. So after your time with the company in Abuja, what did you do next? Because I'm wondering, how did you go from there to making your first short film?
It was tough. I'll be very honest. So I left Abuja in the end of 2019, came back to Lagos, and I had this big dream of I wanted to start my own company. You get, and I left because I had to do beyond just sitting, going to the office, writing scripts. Then I felt like I needed to do more beyond what I was doing at that point. Came back to Lagos. I launched my company in 2019, December. And to me, at first I thought, I'm launching, it's going to be all smooth and stuff. And months after launching, I had not done anything in the company. So it was.
Why was that though?
Well, I would say it was, first of all, it was finances, because to make a film, you have to get the money first. You get, and
of course,
I needed to get enough money to make my first. I wanted to make a feature film first. I needed to get enough money to do that, and COVID struck. So I think COVID actually contributed to it, because COVID started in 2020. I launched my company in 2019 December. By March 2020, there was COVID already. So
But I
there was
mean,
little or nothing.
why did you want to make a feature film first? You know, most people, they want to start with like short films. Let me even try my hands on this thing. But why did you want to start with a feature film?
I had done a short film before, and I posted on YouTube, posted to my network, and I wanted to explore the business side of filmmaking beyond just the artistic part. Yeah, I knew I had the talent to write script, to create art, but beyond just creating art, I wanted to make money from art. I wanted to like monetize what I was working on. You get, and I felt like short films don't really give me the luxury to make so much money from the project.
But tell me,
the highest you can actually do is probably send it in for festivals and get awards, and some awards come with monetary gains, but then those are like very few for short films. So but then with feature film I could sell and make money. So for me, it was more of the business part of it. I wanted to make money from what I was doing.
I get that. That money is very important, I think.
It's very important.
Yeah. But tell me about your short film. When did you make it? What was it about?
Oh yeah, the very first. It's not the very first short film I directed actually, but I think it's my very first like big short film out there. It's titled Efun. Efun is a Benin word that means flesh in Benin.
The one that won the WHO. What's that prize?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that. About the competition, how you found out about it, all of that, the process.
Okay, yeah, so I think I was just going through social media, if I'm not mistaken, either social media or on Film Freeway, because I have an account with Film Freeway, and I was just going through, I saw this festival, and it had to do with health issues and stuff. It piqued my interest because, like I mentioned before, I love social impact-driven stuff. Sorry. Yeah. Let me take you back. It wasn't the WHO award I applied for first.
Okay.
It was the European Union GBV campaign. Yes, I remember. That came first before WHO. So I came across this European Union gender-based violence campaign in Abuja, and they needed entries, videos, and stuff. So I decided to make a video to apply for the campaign. And I wanted to do something different because I know most of the time people talk about GBV, they talk about rape, they talk about other kind of maybe domestic violence. But then I wanted to do something outside of that. And I come from South. Female genital mutilation is something that happens where I come from, though it's reduced now. But then it was really a big deal, even in my own society where my parents come from. So I wanted to and just sensitize people on female genital mutilation. And thankfully, when I sent it for the campaign, it was selected as one of the top 6 videos that won awards at the on screening day in Abuja. And after that, I came across the World Health Organization Health for All Film Festival, and they were calling on people to send in videos for health-related issues. And of course, FGM is a health-related issue, and I just put in the video for the festival. Honestly, I wasn't expecting a callback. Maybe it's something with me. Whenever I post, whenever I apply for stuff, I don't really like fix my mind on it. I just try to forget about it, so you don't get disappointed. But then I got a callback, and I was told that I'd been selected as one of the, I think, top 20 at first. Then among the videos that were selected, they would need to announce the winners of the categories. And thankfully, some weeks later, I got another email that my film got selected to win a special prize award at the festival. So it was amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's awesome. But I mean, that one was obviously a brilliant film. But then I'm curious about like your very, very first short film, your very first film project.
I think my very first short film never got to the public. Never. The title was... It wasn't bad, funny enough. It wasn't bad, but my editor lost a lot of clips. And we could not finish the editing. And it was actually a very good psychological thriller. I really was looking forward to putting it out there. It was a story about a guy that was trying to cheat death. And for me, it was super good because when I even wrote the script, I sent to my friends. They were like, "Oh, this is great. This is blah, blah, blah." And by the time we started editing, I was not just getting the feedback on the what's it called, the final version. What I got, I needed to make some corrections on the first cut. And when I made corrections and sent back, it seemed like some of those shots that had been taken went missing somehow, I don't know. And with psychological thrillers, every element matters.
Yeah.
If you lose one element, it looks like you're telling a crappy story. And for that particular script I wrote, it was a story that needed you to pay attention to every single element. So when those things were lost, I just told myself, I'd rather not put it out than put out something that nobody will understand and they'll come for me. But yeah, maybe I should still have put it out. Who knows? I hope I still have it. I think I would check. If I still have it, it's something I might just even put out for the sake of, this was my very first short film that never got released. So that people know where it started from before the old awards and accolades and stuff.
But before Efun, did you make any other one apart from that one?
I made one. I wouldn't necessarily call it a short film per se because it was just to apply for. Oh yeah, I've made another one. So I made one for Home Vida. I applied for this Home Vida campaign. Actually, I've done a lot of videos for campaigns and challenge and stuff. So I applied for this Home Vida campaign, Internet for All, I remember. So I did a video on the importance of internet. Yes. And I came second place with my video. Yeah, I remember.
You like competitions, right?
Well, I feel like it's a way of actually pushing yourself into the industry.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah. So if you're saying you don't have maybe the finance to actually make some really big projects, you have to look for other ways to push yourself there. And I feel like going for these competitions, applying for this stuff actually puts you in the eyes of people. I've been to ScriptScreen Africa, so I have a network of people in ScriptScreen Africa. I've been a part of Home Vida. I have people there. I've been a part of Accelerate TV. I've made friends and network at Accelerate. So the more you go for these events, apply for this competition, challenge and stuff, the more you meet people and expand your network and even have more people to collaborate with for projects.
True, very true. So your first, your feature film project that you produced, tell me about that. Like, what was your journey to that, and where are you at in that journey right now?
Very interesting journey, I must say. So the first feature film I made was actually done just slightly after the lockdown was eased in 2020 during the coronavirus era. I mentioned that I couldn't do anything because of the COVID stuff. And towards the end of COVID, I'm like, I've been running my company for, say, 6 months now. I've not done anything. I don't think it's wise for me to just stay like that. So I started talking to a friend. I told him about an idea I had. We're discussing about the whole COVID thing. I'm like, just imagine a couple now together that are going through like hell and they're about to go through divorce and they're forced to stay together because of this COVID issue. What are they going to do? What's your life going to look like? And this friend of mine says, that is a fantastic idea. I think you should write it. It's going to be one location, limited characters, and a lot of issues, conflict for the couple and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is a good one. I started writing the script. When I was done with the script, I was already in talks with another friend of mine that was into distribution, and he told me he loved the story. He's waiting for me to send in the scripts, and if it's something he loves, if it's as interesting as the way I told him, he's going to invest in it. And as soon as I was done with the script, I sent to him, and when he read it, he said he wants to put his money on this project. So that was how I got my first financing for my project. Wow. An amazing person, actually. He just told me he's going to invest in it. So he brought in like most of the finance. He brought in 70% of the money. I brought in 30%. We decided to just collaborate on it. And by the time the film was, before the film was done, I had no clue about what being a producer was. Like no clue. I'd never produced a film before. I didn't know the intricacies of producing a feature film. And he has been in the industry for a while. That's the person investing in the project. And he told me, you know what, I'm going to hook you up with somebody. And he got me connected to this friend of mine, who is now like a very close friend, Amara. And she told me, okay, you know what? She's been in the industry for like 10 years. And she told me she was going to take me through the step from the pre-production to production and even to post-production. So she told me, okay, this is what you need to do. This is how you do your budget, your breakdown. This is how you call your actors. This is when you pay them. She basically put me through the entire process from the pre-production to the post-production. When I got on set, a lot of people didn't know it was my first project because then she had told me a lot of things to expect on set, ways to handle it. And by the time I got on set, it was the final day the director came out and said, oh, that just so that people know, this is actually my first production. And if nobody tells them, they won't know. So we're just like talking as a family, and he just mentioned it, and everybody was like, this is your first production. Because I carried myself like I'd done it before, but I had never done it. I just ensured I listened to whatever she had to tell me. Issues I had on set, I called her first and told her, okay, this is what I'm having issues with. Or she'll tell me, okay, don't worry. Then, of course, the person I invested in my project, I can't actually call his name because he wants to remain anonymous. He's an amazing person. So he was there through the project too, and he kept trying to encourage me. He knew I'd never produced a film, but he trusted me to. So it was really good. It was stressful, very, 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 very stressful, because by the time I was done, I had trauma from the project.
Wow.
I was actually like at night when I sleep, I had trauma, I had PTSD. For the next like 5 days after production, I was actually talking about filming in my sleep. I don't talk when I sleep.
Wow.
But for the first time, I was actually talking about filming, and someone came to visit me one time and was like, you were actually talking about filming inside your sleep. I'm like, I've not gotten over this production. I'm about to run. It was stressful.
But I mean, I think it's fantastic that you had someone who basically held your hand through it, or like someone who could guide you.
I'm sure if I didn't, I probably would have freaked out because a lot of challenges came up. But because I had somebody that was willing to go through the process with me, it wasn't as difficult as it would have seemed if I didn't have that person. We shot for 5 days. Yes, it was 5 days of me being scared of somebody's investing not thousands, but millions on this project. If anything goes wrong, I am in trouble. If anything goes wrong, I have to repay this money back. So there was that fear too of, I don't want to do it wrong. And I'm also a very critical person in terms of film projects and stuff. I used to be a critic before for films, but I had to just step out of that zone. So in my head, I'm like, if I've done critiquing for projects, it means that whatever I'm doing has to be good. I don't want to make a film and I have issues with sound, or I have issues with my picture, or I have issues with this. I know the standard for distributing to African Magic already because I had been briefed by a friend, and I wanted it to just be good so that when I go to give it to these platforms, they don't tell me, I think your sound is bad, we can't buy it. So there was that fear, and I couldn't sleep through the project. I couldn't eat. I think for most of the days, I was like on empty stomach for the whole day. Then my PO just come, Mama, you've not eaten, they'll just get me food and stuff. But then I was very anxious, looking forward to how everything goes and hoping that it comes out really great.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what would you say was your biggest lesson from producing that film?
My biggest lesson? I would say it. You can never prepare for the challenges you face on set. Yes, that's it. Because you think you have it all figured out, and something just crops up from nowhere that you did not plan for. So as a producer, I actually learned that even if you have a plan A, plan B, plan C, all those plans can still go wrong on set. Mm-hmm. So you have to be on your toes. You have to be solutions driven. That's one of the major lessons I learned. You have to be solutions driven, because on set, issues will definitely come up, problems will come up. But instead of thinking of the problem and what it's going to cost your production, think of how you can solve it immediately. Otherwise, it will cost you money, it will cost you time, it will cost you resources and everything.
Yeah, but what can you tell me about like one or two of such challenges that you had?
Yeah, one of the challenges I faced on that particular project, like I said, we planned to shoot for 5 days, and in as much as most of the scenes were interior, we still had exterior scenes. And from the schedule we had slated exteriors for certain days. And we had told the actors for those exteriors to come on those days. But then, on those days where those actors were supposed to come around, it started raining.
Oh, wow.
And those were the days we had to shoot exteriors. Those were the only days we had to shoot exteriors. So it started raining. And we had to start calling actors. In fact, one of them actually came on that day, and we couldn't shoot all through the day because it rained. So we had to beg him and told him to come the next day again. But then we had to make like other plans to ensure that, we don't wait till when we're actually scheduling exterior to shoot exterior. So as soon as we saw that it was bright outside, the weather was clear, PM was like, please, let's just call these actors and beg them to come. If we have to do anything, let's get them here so that we can shoot these exteriors now that everywhere is clear. So we had to quickly call them again. What's up? Can you come in today? We are trying to avoid rain and stuff. Then they'll have to hurry down that same day to shoot exteriors. Yeah, so I think that's one of the problems we faced. I think another issue we faced was, of course, like I said, we already scheduled to shoot for 5 days. And by the time we got to the 5th day, we had not finished shooting all our scenes. So we had some things left, and the actors will tell you, they've booked some other appointment or some other shoot, blah, blah, blah. And then you have to finish your work. You can't leave your film halfway and say you're not shooting some scenes. So we had to make some kind of emergency cuts on set. Director came to me, see, I know you wrote the script. I know you love every scene in the script, but then with what is going on, we have to actually take out some things we think does not really move the story forward. So it tells me this scene, I think we should take it out so that we can save time, save resources, because these actors are not going to stay an extra day. So we have to pull out some scenes from the film, from the script rather, so we could save time.
I know what that is like, because on my first film as well, I had to do that. I know how painful that can be, but these are some of the things you have to do.
It's crazy. So basically, had to pull out scenes and stuff.
So what is the name of the film, right? Where is it? Where can we watch it?
Just the two of us. It's on African Magic Showcase. With African Magic Showcase, you can't really tell when exactly it's going to be showing until you see it on TV, apart from the launch day. Yeah. It's on African Magic Showcase. It was on Konga, but our licensing with them has expired already. It's going to be on Accelerate TV very soon.
All right. Brilliant. So for other young women who want to become producers, like, what would you say to them, based on your experience as a producer so far?
Do your due diligence. Very important. Do your due diligence. I think one of the greatest things I've also learned as a producer, mostly from my other project that I just finished, it was more intense. We shot for weeks, and I had to deal with a larger number of crew members, larger number of actors, child actors. Imagine having like 50 children in your custody. You have to start looking around and be chasing them to be sure that they don't go missing.
To deal with that.
I didn't know the magnanimity or whatever. I didn't know the scope of what I was dealing with until we got on set. When you write scripts, sometimes as a writer, you're like, oh yeah, this is beautiful. Let's do it this way. It's fine on paper. Then you get on set and realize you just set yourself up for premium stress. That was what happened. I wrote the script. It's an amazing film. Amazing. I love the script. I love the story. It's based off a personal experience I had with a child.
Tell me about that story actually, and like how you got into production for that film.
I had a story before I even saw the application for funding. When I was working with the tech company I was working with, that was when I got the story, because it was based off an experience I had when I was working with the company. So I was going to work one day, saw this beggar on the road, and due to some encounters between me and the beggar, he actually brought up he inspired this story. And I just wrote it in my notes, and I'm like, someday, somehow, I'm going to write it. At first, it was supposed to be a short film. And I came across this application for funding during the COVID period.
and they were looking for original African stories. And I just told myself, man, I have a story that I've dumped somewhere. I went into my archive, dug in, and I brought out the story. Then when I started developing the story, I realized that this story is not going to be a short film. If I make it into a short film, I'm going to shrink it. So I started expanding and saw that I could actually fit into a feature length. Sent it in for Talent X, Solidarity Fund in 2020. Yeah, I applied for the funding, and at first I got selected as top 10 or top 20. I can't remember. Okay, I think top 20. Then we had to do a breakdown of I had to start writing the scripts. Now this is where the problem was, because I got the email that I'd been selected as top 20 when I was working on filming my first feature film, like producing my first feature film. And I had 1 month deadline to complete my script and send in so they could pick the top 4 stories. And within that 1 month, I was preparing for my shoot. I had to film too. So by the time I was done filming producing my first feature film, 2 weeks was already gone out of the 1 month I had to work on the script.
Wow.
And I had not started working on anything on the script. I had not done my treatment, nothing, because I was busy trying to produce my first feature film. And in my head, I'm like, wait, this opportunity has come. Does it mean that I won't be able to meet up with the deadline or what?
How did you do the impossible?
Oh, yeah. So when I came back from set, and I had to rest first, of course. I spoke to my friend, the one that actually helped me through my production process. And she said, if you're going to tell the story, if you need inspiration to tell the story faster, put yourself into the space of the story. And when she said that, I just said, okay, this is what I need to do. I had to go to Agege where there were beggars. And I just went on a tour in Agege for a full day. A friend of mine, we went there together, met with beggars. I was just looking at the space, trying to get myself inspired, motivated and stuff. And after that day, I came back to my room and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to write this. And I started working on my treatment, finished my treatment in about 4 days. And I wrote the script in 9 days. A 90-page script.
Twale for you.
I was drained.
I can imagine.
So out of the top 4, did they pick just that one script to produce, or did they produce more than that one?
Well, I think 4 stories were picked, or 3, I can't remember, from the entire top 20. Yes, so mine was among those that were selected. So that's what I've worked on.
Let's go back to the first project that you produced. What was the most surprising thing for you about the whole process, whether it's working with crew or working with actors?
Oh, being called Mama.
Why?
I think that's the most surprising, because then I think it's an industry thing in Nigeria. Anybody who is a producer is called Mama. And when I started hearing Mama, Mama at first, I'm like, what's going on here, please? I'm a small girl, Joe.
But then,
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell me about the distribution process. I know that your partner that came on was a distributor, but I'm asking like for people who want to produce and don't know much about distribution. Can you just walk us through that?
Okay, it depends on the channel you want to distribute to. So there's one thing I tell producers mostly: if you're ever going to make a film, ensure that you have your distribution sorted. That means you know where you're taking your film to, so that you know how you are making your film, what you're investing in your film, and the whole dynamics of your film. If not, you make a film and realize that wherever you're taking it to, it doesn't work for you. So if you're making a short film and you know it's festival you want to take it to, you know festival worthy films and how you should work on it. If it's for a feature film and you want to make money from your feature film and distribute your feature film to, say, Africa Magic, there are certain standards that your film should meet, the picture quality of your film.
Can you tell us about some of the Africa Magic standards?
Oh yeah. So firstly, I'm not an African Magic staff, but then from my experience with dealing with them, I can say that the first thing they look at is not the first thing, maybe one of the things they look at, your picture quality. So you have to ensure that your picture quality is dope, because they don't want to put a film on screen and it's all blurry images and stuff. So the choice of camera, your picture quality should be really, really, really good, like clear. Your sound, ensure as much as possible that there are no external sound interference in your dialogues, in your entire film. The sound is clear. The story, of course, the story should be good. It's a family TV station, so you can do family-friendly stories if you want to. You can explore other themes if you want to, but just ensure that your story is good and you're telling a relevant story. What else? Oh yeah, so there are some faces I noticed that platforms like African Magic and Rock would like to see. So ensure that you're not just casting entirely new people in your film. That's one mistake a lot of young producers make. We are very ambitious. We want to make a film, we want to distribute it, but then we are casting, even though these people are talented, but then you're using entirely new faces in your film that nobody knows. But then these platforms like African Magic and Iroko, they have their audience. And we know how freaked audiences are about their favorite celebrities, their favorite stars, actors. If, for example, some people see an Uzo Aruko in their film, they would want to watch it just because Uzo Aruko is there. So these channels know these things. So they strategically want you to place faces that the audience love in your film, so that when your film comes on screen, there are people who are willing to tune in to just see, oh yeah, Uzo is in this film, let me just watch it and see. So if you're going to use new actors, it's very cool. I ensure that every of my film project, I bring in new faces, but then it's more of a blend. There are popular faces that can promote the film, that can get the film to certain places. And there are newbies that I've probably never acted for screen before that I'm given an opportunity to actually showcase their talent. Yeah. What else? I think that's majorly it. Oh yeah, of course, there's also the issue of censoring too. So for TV films, there are certain things that they might not want to see. For example, extreme nudity, overblown sex scenes and stuff. So most of these things are actually censored, since it's like a family channel that they expect that everybody's watching at home and stuff. So they censor some of these things. And this one actually deals with censor board. It is a censor board. But when you get to Africa Magic, they'll tell you, oh, no, we don't want this. This thing is too revealing. We don't want to see naked women and stuff. And they'll ask you to remove it. Or if it's what drives the story, they'll tell you, no, we don't like the story because it's too sexual and we don't want to show it to our audience.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, you've been producing a lot. Is that like your last bus stop, or do you see yourself doing a bit more direct?
Oh, well, I'll go into directing. Well, I think my directorial debut would come really soon, because I really want to do directing. But then for now, I'm focused on producing and giving room. Basically, I know how to write, I know how to produce, and going to directing to be more like me, taking the whole spot in a film project. So if I'm going to direct, I would like to have maybe a second eye in the production aspect, or a second eye in the writing aspect, so that I can give room for other people to showcase their skills. You understand? So, but yeah, I'm going to be directing my first feature film very soon.
Yeah. All right. Before I let you go, we're going to do a lightning round. So I'm going to mention one word, and then you say the first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Netflix.
Money Heist.
Okay. YouTube.
Monetization.
You like money.
I like money.
Best movie ever.
Slumdog Millionaire. Oh, it's not actually, but that came to mind first. So maybe it's one of my best films, but it's not like
best screenplay.
Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
TV versus film.
Let me think. I have to think. TV versus film. Ursh. My head is blank, actually.
Okay. No, that's fine.
For the last time this season, thank you for listening to this episode of African Filmmakers podcast. As always, please take a screenshot of the podcast and share it on social media. Share it with your friends and family who are filmmakers or aspiring filmmakers. Follow us on Instagram at The African Filmmaker. Tweet at me or send a DM. My Twitter handle is at I am Korede and my Instagram handle is at Korede, spelled Korayday. As usual, keep listening for some backroom gist. Ciao.
But then you are one of the 21 who were selected for the Netflix-UNESCO short film competition thingy. How did that feel?
Exciting. Really exciting. I know it's cliche if I say that I was not initially expecting a callback, but then let me just put it out because when I submitted my story, like I mentioned to you when we're talking, it was like on the deadline. So I submitted like 12 seconds to deadline. 12 seconds. And because I had lost the idea came to me 30 minutes to the time, and I had to start writing on the spot on the submission page. You know how the submission page was now. You have to submit, then there's like a timeline and the countdown. So you're basically watching the countdown as you are. Sorry? I'm
trying to understand. The idea actually came to you like 30 minutes before you submit.
30 minutes to deadline. What? Yes.
What?
The idea came to me 11:30 p.m.
Wow.
Because I was thinking of the folk tale I wanted to tell. And in as much as it sounds like it's simple, trust me, that what's it called? Entry was not simple. It was not easy. Because I kept asking myself, what folk tale do I want to tell? And the more I researched, the only thing I was seeing was tortoise, Ijapa. And I'm like, I don't want to tell an Ijapa story.
Yeah, I had that.
And I was on it for days. Nothing was coming to me. And I just told myself, I don't get exactly what I want to tell, something really good, I'm not going to bother submitting. Then 11:30 p.m., an idea just came to me. And it was later I realized that the idea that came to me at 11:30 was an idea I had before then, but I never worked on it. It was in my archive. I had spoken about it to my environmental sustainability boss then. She loved the story so much. We spoke about it and she said, oh, when we are able to, we'll film it. And at that 11:30 p.m., it came to me, but it seemed like a fresh story. But then what I did was I looked for a way to link it with an African folktale. And as soon as it came to me, I knew this was the story I wanted to tell. So I said, okay, let me apply. Then I started typing directly on the page. On the submission page, I started answering the questions immediately. I was basically watching the countdown as I was writing out the idea on the page. And when it was 12 seconds to deadline, I realized I had not reread my entry. And I just told myself, you know what? Let me submit it. Then I clicked submit. Yeah. And I was just watching till it went to 0000.
And you know the funny thing? Sometimes it's those things that you do. Oh my God. Sometimes it's those things that you do under so much pressure that it's almost like your brain is working at 2 times or 2x the capacity.
I'm telling you. I think I'm a deadline person actually, because most of the applications I've done, I submitted close to deadline. I don't know why. It feels like at that time is when like the major idea just hits me and I'm like, yes, this is it. I don't know. It feels like my brain is just hibernating for like a while. Then when it gets to that point where it's close to deadline, I just get that rush, adrenaline, and I just start writing. And but yeah, so when I got the call back, I screamed. I'm like, yeah, even for anything, man. Getting a call back means something to me.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
How did you feel though when you got your call back? Let me pose the question back to you.
Of course, like. Thank you. Of course, I wasn't expecting a call back as well, to be honest. And then when I got the email, I was just, it felt out of the world, out of this world. But yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Now the wait to find out who got into the final 6 is just, I don't know, it's crazy. I've tried to forget. I honestly have tried to forget about it, but I can't forget.
I think the best thing might probably be to just distract yourself with something else. I think for the first few days when I go back first, I was never looking forward to feedback because I was so tired. You know how my journey was now? I was so tired. I slept for 2 days straight. I was having sore throat. I was sick. So I had to first get myself back. It was after I got myself and I started thinking, okay, we're going to get feedback next week. And after a couple of days and there was no feedback, I'm like, oh, what's going on? But then I just told myself, man, if you put your mind on it, you just end up putting yourself under so much anxiety and stuff. Then I just got on to other things, started working. I had a lot of deliverables already waiting for me. So I just started focusing on other things to just take it off my mind. But man, the wait is long.
Yeah, I know. Anyhow, I'll be fine. I'm working on other things anyway, so it's all right.
Yeah, I believe it's for the best. Definitely.
Anyway, I mean, whoever the final 6 are, I'll be happy for them because I think all of us, to some extent, I don't know if we bonded, but at least we made friends, yeah, so it's good. It's all good.
Oh yeah, true. And I'm sure the top 6 is going to definitely be deserving of it because it's not easy even getting to that stage at all. When I saw that they got over 2,000 entries, I'm like, wow, that's so much to read. Trust me,
nice.
Judges are trying.
It feels nice to be singled out of so many entries anyway.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It means something. Yeah. It means a lot.
All right, good luck to us. I've given up. Like my daughter has officially featured in this podcast, which is
good to hear, boys.
Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
It's fine. It's my honor.